Get y'all's asses in here and let's chat a taste. The First Lady, episode 2. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about it, all right? So I have no idea. How Viola is going to fare going through this entire season, sitting at home listening to the media rip her apart and criticize her portrayal of former First Lady Michelle Obama on this new Showtime series, The First Lady, which she's also a producer on. And kudos to that. I love seeing more black folks in producer roles, getting the extra check. Come on, not just the talent, but behind the scenes, making decisions as well. Now, I got to reiterate what I said on a previous video. The acting to me is second to none. I know a lot of you won't agree with that, but I truly believe the acting from Viola, Oscar-winning actress, Emmy-winning actress. Did she have a Tony from the stage thing she did with Fences? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Second to none to me. The inflection in her speech, the movements, and yes, even the duck lips. Michelle does that periodically. She really does. She does it. But Viola seems to overdo it. Perhaps, people who do impressions sometimes have this thing that they have to do to get into character. Like Jay Farrell, for instance. Many on Twitter are saying that perhaps Cassandra Freeman, who is currently cast as Viv on Bel Air, or maybe Kerry Washington, who already kind of has the Michelle Douglas thing naturally, would have been better choices for the role. While I could maybe see it with Cassandra, I don't know if she would have the mannerisms. And it seems like a job for an Emmy or an Oscar-winning actress to pull off, in my personal opinion. Kerry fits that mold, but could she put the overall look outside of the sexy lips that Kerry has? Lord Jesus. Keep me near the cross. Kerry White. Get myself back together. I don't know. I can't say. I can't say overall. But what say you? After watching the second episode, have you watched it yet? I'm excited to. I just keep my phone, just keep going on. Jeez. After watching the second episode, I'm excited to see the rest of the season, but I have to force myself not to focus on the duck lips. In this episode 2, it covers the moment Barack asked Michelle to get out on the campaign trail. His team asked him to ask her to get out on the campaign trail because he was not relatable enough, and she perhaps comes off as more relatable. She didn't want to do it. She's dead set against it. She said, "No, I don't want to do it. Y'all just gonna pimp me out, basically." She even said that later. I'll tell you about that. She didn't want to do it, and she eventually decided, okay, I will, and immediately ate her ass up. They ate her lunch when she stated in one of the speeches. I don't know if it was the first one or not, but she stated, "This is the first time I've been proud of my country," and they took that and ran. So they're like, "You never been proud of America?" People put stuff like, "Your husband's not even American. You don't like America. You're racist." They said all types of stuff. Now, levity aside, this was definitely an intense episode, particularly for Michelle and for Betty Ford. Both had rough interactions with their staff, with the White House staff. Betty's adversity came when her secretary, who was left over from the Nixon administration, they actually asked her. She didn't, but the White House, the president's administration, chief of staff or advisors, whomever, they asked Nixon's Nixon's wife, the former first lady. What was her name? Joe or something like that? I don't know. Forgot her name. Nixon's wife. They asked her secretary to stay on, because they needed to try to dim Betty's light to some degree. They wanted to keep her quiet. They wanted her to be more like Nixon's wife. What's her name? I don't know. Let me look it up real fast. Let me see. Y'all keep it real. I keep it real. You see me looking up stuff while we're not live. So I don't matter. Let me look this up. And I'm not gonna edit this out either. You're gonna get the real deal raw, real deal Holyfield when it comes to these shows. All right. So as that's coming up, Y'all probably might be putting it in the comments right now. What's her name? Is it Joe or Jill or something like that? Let's see. Now all of a sudden they want to go slow. Nixon wife. Mm-hmm. Pat. There we go. Pat Nixon. Pat Nixon. It's Pat. So Pat, they want to pat her up. They want her to be more like Pat. So therefore they figured we keep Pat's secretary on. She can kind of make her be more Pat-like, which is quiet, behind the scenes, not boisterous, not loud. And she knew her place. She used to be seen and not heard. And that's what they wanted Betty to do. But Betty is not like that. Neither was Eleanor Roosevelt, and neither is Michelle. But that's what they wanted for the first lady. Okay. And with that, there was a little tension. All right, a little tension. Betty had to make a decision at the end of the day to basically let this secretary know who was in charge, because this secretary is really trying to demean and trying to be passive aggressive with Betty, trying to get her to counsel stuff, trying to make it like she wasn't up to the job, and she had to let her know, I got this. I like how she handled it. On the same token, same thing happened with Michelle. Rahm Emanuel. We know Rahm Emanuel, goon, Chicago, politics. We know. We all knew he was a gangster, allegedly, when we saw him come on the scene and be the White House chief of staff. We knew it, right? Rahm Emanuel, chief of staff of the White House at the time, thought he was going to control what Michelle did and what causes she was going to support. Wanted her to be in the garden and all that. She eventually ended up doing that. But it turned into a quick and very serious closed-door conversation. They were supposed to have a meeting. She said, I need to see Rahm. Bring Rahm in here. Rahm came in. They sent everybody out, and they had a very intense conversation. He told her that he would body check, basically, anyone that got in the way of him protecting the president's image and agenda. And she said, including me? He said, anybody. You don't say that to a black woman. First of all, I think they need to understand. I don't think what they understood, and even though this is politics, is that there's a different paradigm, if you will, than it has been. While we've never had a black president, right? Never had a black president until Barack Obama. And so you had white male presidents with white women. And I don't know this to be certain because Betty and Eleanor seem a little different. They're a little forceful. However, even though Eleanor and Betty were a little forward in trying to have a voice, their husbands were still kind of pressing their head down, to be honest with you. Eleanor, very strong woman, but she would go to try to talk to her husband, and he would just blow her off, send her out the room, basically. I'm like, you sleep with this person every night, and and you can't get in his ear. You can't get him to hear you. That's odd. That's kind of odd. I understand he's the president, but there's a level of respect. And so for his folks for their team to be so aggressive and so condescending with these ladies was very odd and disrespectful to me. And the husbands weren't saying anything. However, I think that paradigm shifts a bit when you have a black family in the White House. Black family dynamics is a little different. A little bit different. It ain't happening like that. It's not set up that way, where the husband just diminishes the wife and it's okay. It don't work that way. Which is why sometimes there's it can be a little tension in black households because black women don't let that happen. I'm not your child. That's how you're not going to treat them like a child or like they're a nobody. It's just not the case. And so it's a little different for Rahm. Rahm wasn't expecting her to fight back or for Michelle to speak her voice. Michelle let him know that that the chief of staff y'all appointed me or that you appointed me, she's out. He said, what? He said, she's out. I'm choosing my own chief of staff. Matter of fact, I'm choosing my own team. And matter of fact, you stay out of my way and I'll stay out of yours. And that was the end of that story. It's totally different. Totally different world. No, Michelle wasn't having it. Now, one thing I didn't like is that when she did go home and Barack trying his best not to get too involved in it. And he basically compared it to having two wives, but her, of course, but he was sure to reassure her. He made sure he reassured her that she comes first, because if he did, he would have a whole lot of problems. His ass would have been president or not. He would have some problems. So we just don't, it's just not how things operate in black households. Not that way. It's a team. But anyway, I ask you again, what say you? What do you think of this episode? Have you seen it yet, episode 2? If you haven't seen it, what do you think of episode 1? And what do you think of the portrayals of the ladies, of Betty Ford, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Michelle Obama, particularly Viola's performance? What do you think of it? Who do you think could have played Michelle Obama outside of Viola? Put that in the comments below. Comment it below, and also remember to click the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't, and click that notification bell so you won't miss future videos. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all. I think we're done. I'm Lamb. This is TFG TV. Peace out.